Hello, I'm Food Daniel. Here are my predictions for the WFA games to be played on May 30th. Right off the bat, the matchup of the year, the one everyone's waiting for, the Boston Renegades at the Chicago Force. Okay, I don't know if they're going to be playing it, midway between the two like they did last year where they played in Pittsburgh. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think Chicago's going to win this game. Boston, yeah, they're still real powerful, but, the close loss to DC and then a close win over Cleveland shows this is a team that now plays close games, while the Chicago Force, Boston could win it, but I'm not going to believe they will unless they actually do. So I'm picking Chicago, and I'll say by 2 to 3 touchdowns. Cleveland Fusion at the Detroit Dark Angels. Hey, I love the Dark Angels, but let's be realistic. Cleveland is a good team. They lose to Boston by only 4. They're a good team, and we already knew that even before the Boston game. Cleveland by 4 or 5 touchdowns. Columbus Comets to the Central Maryland Seahawks. Okay, Comets, come on. Gotta win this one. And they will. I know the Seahawks are hanging in there, and good for them. I hope they continue to hang in there, but Comets will win this one by 2 to 3 touchdowns. West Michigan Mayhem versus the Derby City Dynamite. Okay, the Mayhem are 4-1, the Dynamite are 0-5. Michigan's only loss to Chicago. Michigan will win this one. 4 or 5 touchdowns. Trivia fun fact, West Michigan Mayhem played 2 games this year against the Minnesota Machine, and they were both the exact same score, 35-13 each time. How about that? Okay, here's another very interesting game. DC Divas, the Atlanta Phoenix. I don't know if these two teams have... I can't speak today. I don't know if those two teams have ever played each other before. Not that I know of. But this will be real interesting. In the Southeast, either the Atlanta Phoenix or the Miami Fury are pretty much the best team in the Southeast, but whenever either one of them go outside of the Southeast, they get the snot beat out of them. That might change this time. Well, this is a home game for Atlanta, but I'm not counting on it changing. I think DC is going to win this one on the road. Yeah, I think they're going to go to Atlanta in front of a crowd of about 2,000 people, and I think DC is going to win this game. It'll be close, though, because Atlanta is good. DC by 2 touchdowns or less. Well, between Boston, Chicago, and DC and Atlanta, I'd love to be at either one of those games. Okay, Miami Fury to Orlando Anarchy. Well, the Anarchy had to forfeit their game last week against the Jacksonville Dixie Blues. But even if they don't forfeit this game, it won't matter. Gruesome win for Miami. Gruesome. Tampa Bay Inferno at the Daytona Wave Runners. Let me take a look at what the Wave Runners are doing. My eyes look creepy in this angle. Like I've got black eyes or something, like someone punched me or something. How have the Wave Runners been doing this year? They're 1-4. Okay, lost to Miami 61-0. Beat Orlando 22-6. Lost to Jacksonville 70-10. Lost to Tampa Bay 54-0. Lost to Miami 33-19. Okay, they lost to Tampa Bay in Tampa 54-0, so no particular reason to expect that game will be too much different, even being a home game. So, gruesome win for Tampa Bay. Gruesome. Kansas City Titans at the Minnesota Machine. For some reason, when we get to the Midwest teams, they're real slippery. I'm not sure how any of them are doing. So let me scroll to the handy-dandy schedule that the WFA, conscientiously keeps updated for us. That's very nice. We appreciate it. Okay. Titans are 3-2. They beat the Wildcats, the Slam, and the Threat, and they lost to Dallas and Chicago. Well, Minnesota's 0-6. Yeah. No particular reason to expect Kansas City not to win this game. And they'll win it by 4 or 5 touchdowns. South Texas Lady Crushers, the Austin Outlaws. Hope I'm not making you dizzy doing all that. Well, the Lady Crushers, of course, they're looking for their first win. They're looking for their first points. They're 0-5. No shame. First year teams, that often happens. While Austin is 1-4 with their only win being against those very same Lady Crushers, 56-0 on May 9th, and that was a road game for Austin. This one's a home game, so gruesome win for the Austin Outlaws. Gruesome. Houston Power at the Arlington Impact. Arlington's a good team, and I don't see any team in Texas, not the Dallas Elite, beating them. Arlington will win this game by 4 or 5 touchdowns. Tulsa Threat at the St. Louis Slam. I love the Tulsa Threat, but the Slam are on a different level. Slam by 3 or 4 touchdowns. Here's another game I'd love to go to. The Arkansas Wildcats, the Acadiana Zydeco. I've said before that between the Tulsa Threat, Arkansas Wildcats, and Acadiana Zydeco, when 2 of those 3 teams meet up against each other, it's almost always a close game. And I think this one will be too. Acadiana, I predict Acadiana will win this one. So I love my Zydeco. They'll win by 2 touchdowns or less. Yes. Wish I could go to that one. To the Northwest. Portland Shockwave at the Seattle Majestics. Seattle still rules the Northwest. That ain't going to change. Portland's a good, tough team, though. You know, they'll give Seattle a fight. Seattle by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Tacoma Trauma at the Everett Rain. It's pretty much indisputable now. Tacoma Trauma are the most improved team in the WFA this year. They were 0 for 2014 and 0 for 2013 this year. Here they are at, I believe they are 4-1, 3-1. Yes, indeed. This is their first time they've played the Rain this year. And the Everett Rain aren't doing badly at 2-3. Their 2 wins, they beat the Portland Fighting Phillies 18-13. And then last week, a game I attended, they beat the Everett Rain. Not last week, 2 weeks ago, they beat the Utah Blitz 8-0. So it looks like Tacoma ought to win this one. But don't be surprised if Everett takes a fight to them. Tacoma by 3 or 4 touchdowns. And if I had to narrow it, I'd say by 3. But we'll say 3 to 4. Okay. Okay, Utah Blitz, the Portland Fighting Phillies. I don't know if any team in the history of women's football has had such a streak of bad breaks without disbanding altogether than the Utah Blitz. My God, what does this team have to do to catch a lucky break for a change? I mean, one coach quit, another coach dies. Their first home game of the year, pouring rain, so nobody showed up. But they still hang on. I mean, the esprit de corps sky high among these ladies. And now they're traveling to Portland. This is the 3rd time this year they've driven all the way to the Pacific Coast. I know Portland's not on the coast, but close enough. It's a long-ass drive, and the 3rd such long-ass drive they've done this year. That's just a bitch! And then the game will start. Now, the Fighting Phillies, they too haven't had much success this year either. They're looking for their first win too. So here are 2 teams who are combined 0-8 on the year. One of them's going to get their first win. It'll probably be Portland, and I'll say by 2 or 3 touchdowns, but God, I'd love to be wrong. Come on, Blitz, prove me wrong. Yes. Okay. You know, as exciting as that Boston-Chicago game seems, there's an equally exciting game here in California. And again, I wish I could go to it, but my band's got a performance, so I can't go to any games at all. It's the Central Cal War Angels at the Pacific Warriors. That's a game to see. The Warriors are 4-1. The War Angels are 3-1. Both of them lost to the same opponent, the San Diego Surge. So this game will pretty much decide, you know, who's the second best team in the Pacific time zone other than the San Diego Surge. And I think this is going to be a close game too. I think this game will be closer than the Boston-Chicago game. If I could teleport to either one of these games, I'd go to this Central Cal Pacific Warriors game. I'm going to pick the War Angels, because I love my War Angels. It'll be by 2 touchdowns or less. That'll be a hell of a game. I wish I could go to that. And it's only a 5-hour drive away, too. If it wasn't for the show I have to do that day, I would go to that one. Okay, then you have Ventura Wolfpack at the San Diego Surge. Oh, come on. Oh, gruesome. Oh. Oh, gruesome. And I love it that the Wolfpack are hanging in there. Because, you know, I know they're a small market team, you know, with a small roster team as well. You know, I know it's difficult, but talk about being thrown at the deep end. I mean, I don't even know if this qualifies as a practice session for the Surge. Try to give him a surprise, Ventura, huh? Okay, and lastly, Arizona Assassins, the West Coast Lightning. These two teams have played each other before. Let's take a look. Okay, Arizona is 2-3. West Coast Lightning are 1-4. They played each other on May 9th. Arizona won that game, 20-6. Okay, 3 touchdowns to 1 touchdown. I can imagine a similarly close game here. There you go. I mean, 2 not particularly good teams. You put them against each other, you could have a good, exciting game, and I think this will be. Arizona will win this one by 2 touchdowns or less. And that completes my predictions for the games to be played on May 30th. Thank you.